Now, I think about my late grandparents. They'd find this peculiar. One of my grandparents, I think, would find this a sign of the apocalypse. But I don't find it peculiar or apocalyptic because I'm a left-brain guy and I look at this analytically. So it makes perfect sense to me. Suppose I leave the noble world of writing business books and go into the toilet brush industry. I go into the toilet brush industry. At the outset, I face a threshold problem. The threshold problem is that we've pretty much solved the engineering side of the toilet brush challenge, right? We can make a toilet brush that scrubs a bowl more or less well. So if you want to sell more toilet brushes, what are your options? Well, your first option is this option right here, the iPod option. You come up with a dramatically more efficacious toilet brush. You make a monumental leap in toilet brush technology. You come up with the iPhone of toilet brushes, say. Hard to do. Hard to do, but the best strategy. If you can't do that, then you have a second option. The second option is to take this product, this service, this experience that seems where the utilitarian side is pretty much worked out, and infuse it with some right brain elements. Design, look and feel, emotion. That is, even the most ridiculously mundane products, services, and experiences have become objects of desire. This is what happens in a world of abundance. If you think about it the way a designer would think of it, every product, every service, every experience in our midst is a combination of what they would call utility and significance. Utility and significance. Everything that human beings create for other human beings combines utility and significance. Utility, it has to work. Significance, it has to have some other kind of attribute. Everything is a combination of those two things in different proportions. Well, what's happened now is that utility is abundant, the price goes down. Significance is scarce, the price goes up. And if you sort of unpack this, you find this, if you think about this as a combination of utility and significance, well, this is a toilet brush that has maybe $1 worth of material in it that sells for $14. Okay? Selling $1 worth of material for $14, that's a pretty good business, right? Those are what we call margins, right? Are those margins are coming out of significance, not utility. And if you look at that utility-significance divide, you find more and more this has become a significance economy absent a giant leap in utility. So that's how abundance tilts the scales. It gives you two strategies. The iPod strategy, give the world something you didn't know it was missing. The designer toilet brush strategy, take something utilitarian and infuse it with right brain elements. Let's go to the next one. Abundance, Asia, automation. Abundance, Asia, automation. By Asia, I mean people like this. Here are 6 people I met in Mumbai, India not too long ago. They all do work for North American companies, 2 German companies as well. They all do work that you get paid, maybe no more than £10,000 annually for. They get paid no more than £10,000 annually for work that you get paid maybe £35,000 for in the UK. All right? All of them have degrees in computer science and engineering. Okay, you've all heard about offshoring and outsourcing of white-collar work. Again, we're talking about globalization here nominally. Let me give you the punchline. Offshoring, if you look at the numbers, is massively overstated in the short run. The effect that white-collar offshoring has had on labor markets in places like the UK and the US is relatively modest in the short term. But if offshoring is overhyped in the short run, I actually think it's underhyped in the long run. It's underhyped in the long run. We have not begun to reckon with what this means. And the reason I say it's underhyped in the long run is because I can do math. I want to stack up just a few numbers for you to make this case. Using India as the embodiment of Asia here for a moment, because I've had the good fortune of spending some time there. India has an advantage in the global economy. It's also a liability in many regards, but for this purpose, it's an advantage. India has 1 billion people. 1 billion people. Now, for the handful of you with a kind of liberal arts background, I should point out that 1 billion is a very large number. There's a principle of statistics called the law of large numbers, which states that if you take a small percentage of a large number, you get another large number. The law of large numbers works powerfully in India's favor. Let's say that 15% of India's population hits this status. Talented, ambitious, upper middle class, able to compete in global labor markets. 15% of 1 billion is 150 million, is routine. 150 million. 150 million. All right, let's put that in some context here. Japan where I spent some time last year, Japan is the world's second largest economy. 150 million is larger than the population of Japan. The United States has the world's largest economy by far. Last month, the number of people at work in the United States economy, if you add up every single person, public, private, government, whatever, every single person working for pay in the United States, you get to 146 million people. So, if 15% of India's population makes it to this status, 15%, meaning 85% of India gets left behind, you have more talented, ambitious, college-educated, upper-middle-class Indians than you have citizens of the world's second-largest economy and workers in the world's largest economy. That's if 85% get left behind. Let me layer on two more facts. First, one fact. 2010 is the year that India will be the largest English-speaking country in the world. Not the United States. Not the United States. It's the law of large numbers. Again, India has about 1.2 billion people, actually. If you have 1.2 billion people, you can have 800 million people in your country who don't speak a word of English, and you still get the gold medal. And English has become, for better or worse, the de facto language of the global economy. Now, all of us here, all of us who are American or British or Australian or Canadian should be breathing a big sigh of relief over that. It confers a mostly undeserved advantage. I'll take it, and I'll take it for my kids. But we should be breathing a big sigh of relief. However, the scales have tilted so that America will no longer be the largest English-speaking country in the world. And this is one of the rare times that I can actually empathize with people in the United Kingdom, because this is what happened 100 years ago to you when an upstart, unworthy nation took the gold medal away from its rightful owner. Now, let's talk about the cost of communication between North America and India. It's free. This is my laptop. On my laptop, I can communicate with India for free, thanks to internet telephony, Skype, Jaja, video conferencing built in. It's free. So let's stack this up. 150 million middle-class people speak perfect English, connected to North America and Western Europe for free. That's a big deal. And here's what it means. This has made one word a death sentence in this economy, and that word is routine. Any work that is routine is disappearing from places like the UK, places like the US. What do I mean by routine work? Routine work is work you can reduce to a script, to a spec sheet, to a formula, to a series of steps that has a right answer. If you can write down the steps and it has a right answer, that kind of work is going and is going to disappear. That kind of work is also the sort of work that our moms and dads told us to do. Certain kinds of accounting is routine. Certain kinds of financial analysis is routine. Certain kinds of programming is routine. Certain kinds of law is routine. If you can write down the steps and it has a right answer, that kind of work is trickling out of advanced economies. Soon we'll be racing out of advanced economies. Now, we've seen this movie before. This is what happened to routine mass production work. Mass production work basically following a set of rules with your body. That kind of work basically no longer gets done in a place like the United Kingdom or a place like the United States. It just races to the cheapest cost provider. This is what's happening with routine white-collar work now.